So what do you get when you cross the star of How I Met Your Mother with a career singer-songwriter? You get the new music duo, Radnor and Lee. So please welcome Josh Radnor and Ben Lee. Hi, fellas.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Ladies.
Welcome.
Hello. Good
So
morning.
full disclosure, during that quick little video, we discovered you both have the softest hands known to the history of humankind.
We're not going to talk about how we discovered that.
But we discovered that, and your next bit involves a talking cat that you may or may not have, courtesy of our friend.
Wait, are we really going to talk about that?
Yeah,
Why
wow.
wouldn't we? These people love cats.
So there's pre-show chatter
Yes.
that you think this will never end up on air,
And then you realize it's
And
the
then
you
entire
realize,
point
oh,
of our
this
show.
is what we're going to talk
Yeah.
about.
And then you
Yeah.
realize this crazy girl across from me just brought up a cat that I don't even have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cat has a lisp, too. Let's get into that
I told her the
detail.
neighborhood I'm living in New York City, and she said, "Do you have a cat
Who notices?
No.
who notices which famous people are in the neighborhood?"
Obviously.
Which is a weird. It's weird.
It's a weird
It was a
thing.
very natural conversation.
No. You're right. It felt normal, but now that we're saying it on record, it
Right.
sounds insane.
Well, it doesn't speak highly of the sense of time efficiency for
Yeah.
the show itself, but nonetheless, it's still entertaining.
It's like what happens on the couch needs to stay on the couch.
yeah, let's leave
and
it
not
there.
be broadcast across the internet.
It's happening.
Oh,
It's happening.
It's
gonna be the
we're here.
headline.
Yeah.
We're already here.
Totally. Thank you both for coming on the show.
absolutely. Thanks for having us.
We heard you guys singing earlier before in your warm-up. How did this project come together?
We were friends, and we're both.
No longer.
Yeah,
No,
that ended as soon as we
it's
sung
just
together.
acrimonious, but we
Yeah, it's
collaborate.
awkward a little
It's
bit.
awkward.
No, we've been friends for like a decade, and we love making stuff. So for me, it was only a matter of time before we said, let's make something together. It was really that, pretty much that.
Yeah, we got together, we wrote a song, and we wrote a song in really quickly, and we had so much fun, and then we wrote another one, and at some point he said, let's make a record. And then we just kept writing.
Okay,
And
so how does the creative process work between you guys? Who does what? Like, how do you delegate your...
Who does the heavy lifting?
And who hangs out with the cat?
Yeah.
Josh buys the Kavita drinks before we have a
is true.
songwriting session.
What's Kavita? Is that kombucha?
Yes, it's like some sort
Are we
of.
going to get a free case of Kavita?
I sure do hope
I don't
so.
even know what it is.
Yeah, Kavita, throw us a case each, and we'll mention you on our next Facebook
Lemon
Live.
ginger is what we drink.
But honestly, it's like something we were wary of from the beginning was not falling into like just an easy way of collaborating. Like you write the lyrics, I'll do music to it. It was more like our first song I think started from one of Josh's dreams of a melody, and so we've always had a kind of more amorphous attitude to how do we make stuff together. Like let's both offer both.
We were talking about it. We have one song that, like, I wrote the lyrics, I handed them to Ben, he did the music, and that's our only song where that happened.
Okay.
The other songs are, you'd be hard-pressed to say, like, oh, that was my line. I don't even remember. And the melody, you know, one of the things Ben said to me, you know, by using a melody that I had for our first song, he kind of showed me that I actually had songs coming through me, because I just thought I was going to be, like, more the lyric guy. And so I contribute melodically as much as lyrically, which has been super fun for me because I didn't know. And now I'm playing guitar too, which is.
And you know, collaboration's like a super magical thing. Like if you can define exactly who does what, chances are there isn't an alchemical thing happening that you like. I like it best when two people get together and it's almost like you go into an altered consciousness and you've got this little art baby that comes out the other side of it, and you're like, we made that together?
Yeah.
All right.
And its DNA is all of both of you kind of
and it's
mixed
like
together.
harmonic versus discordant. You collaborate with a lot of people, though, right?
I mean, you know, I've been a solo artist since I was 14. So I've done a lot of like being on the road by myself, being in Holiday Inns, sitting, you know, it's like, it's more fun to work with other people often, you know.
And you're a little bit of a newbie for this, right?
Well, I've been singing for a long, long
For a
time.
long time.
Yeah.
But
So
writing the
vocally, I felt like I had a lot to contribute. But in terms of, like sitting down and crafting songs, that's been the last 2 years. But it's been a total joy for me, you know. I mean, my career is a little, and I think Ben would agree, that we both kind of say, like, where's the most amount of joy? And kind of follow that, rather than being calculated. Like, it's not like after being on a hit TV show, you're like, I know what I'll do. I'll start an indie band with my friend. Like, that's the next logical move. But it felt like that's where the joy was coming through, and among other things. I'm doing a lot of other stuff. But I just followed that, and it's been a delight, you know.
That's cool.
To that point, is joy the impetus for some of the lyrics? Because you question a lot of things on this album, and I wonder, I'm mesmerized by this creative process because I envision people up late at night like, I need a word that rhymes with fun or whatever, but clearly
Done, we're done.
Clearly. But so is joy, so what sort of...
Well, I think it's, in some ways, it's like a not easy or cheap joy, but like a very adult joy of like finding joy in the middle of pain, or on the other side of pain, because there's, I mean, any glance at the headlines will show you like we're in a tough moment. This is like a really hard. I just find like life is both more fascinating and fun and hard the older I'm getting, but I also feel like I want our songs to reflect the complexity of all that. So we don't do a lot of like mindless pop, you know, even though our fun songs are laced with a little bit of a dose of reality or kind of,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and I would say that we don't. I think both of us as individuals, we don't do a lot of separating our creative process from our personal lives or outlook. So with Josh and I, we're both very philosophical guys that talk about, we're interested in why. And
Yeah.
what is this thing we're in, and what are we
did we get
really
here?
and
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
this, and how do we navigate it best? And so naturally, that's going to seep into the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have a taste for toe-tapping melodies and some big philosophical questions, this might be the album for you.
This, check this one
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, right.
So you guys, you're performing together now. Were you nervous being on stage with Ben, or?
Well, it's nice because he's
When I
such a-
start making jokes, he gets nervous.
Yeah, every once in a while he'll make a joke that I'll be like, don't make that joke. I think it's great, you know, it's great to have a buddy up there who's so studied at this kind of performance. So it gave me a little bit of armor in terms of, you know, that I could, one of the things I said I'm learning how to play guitar just because I didn't want to be up there, I didn't know what to do with my hands. And
Yeah.
as I said, I was
That you're
tired
gonna
of,
end up with the maracas.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be embarrassing.
Yeah.
The Davy Jones moment.
So, but that's been the, no, I think I felt, I believed in our collaboration together. So I felt like if the two of us are standing together and making music and singing, it just felt great.
And it's funny, like from the beginning, we would, you know, when you start a band in your like late 30s and 40s, it's kind of like, you know, even you have sometimes a harder time remembering all the lyrics, you know. So, but for us, and we've also got a lot of other things going on, but what we realized was, as opposed to the details, if we got up there in our friendship and just had a good time together, the audience loved it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
they're very forgiving. The details are not that important. It's like, what they're really there to see is like two creative, like, it's interesting in our culture, men and male friendship and all these kind of things that are a little bit, there can be some sort of toxic ideas in our society around what, and just seeing like two guys up there kind of trying their best, making each other laugh, singing in harmony together.
Yeah,
It's fun,
and
you know?
also making mistakes. Like we have a mistake-friendly policy
Yeah.
in our shows, which people actually enjoy when we screw up, and we might do it right here.
Yeah,
So
we're
we'll show you
planning
what
on
that
several
looks
mistakes.
So,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I love a good
I'm very
screw up.
excited. We get to watch the chemistry cloud happen. Okay. Awesome.
Listen,
What?
before you
This
leave,
sounds like
Is
something
this about
terrible.
the cats?
it's about your cat.
Yeah.
No, you have to talk to us about How I Met My Mother. It's
Well,
such
will
an
you get the
iconic
title
show.
of it, right?
Did I say it? How I Met Your Mother.
There
my
you go.
mother.
There you go.
Listen.
Yeah.
Mistakes friendly. Remember you
We're
guys?
mistake friendly.
Are we-
Now
No,
you're
that
Don't
didn't
change the
feel
policy.
mistake friendly. It was judgy.
sorry.
Okay, thank you. 'Cause
Yeah.
we have to have this safe
I know,
space.
safe space.
Safe
This is a
space.
safe space.
You changed the policy real
Safe
fast.
space.
Yeah,
Well, that just applies to us.
Yeah, right?
that's right.
Toxic.
Talk to me about being on such an iconic show.
Well, you know, we did 9 years. We did 208 episodes. I felt like I thoroughly explored the guy and what he was going through. I felt it ended, when it ended, I had no regrets. I thought, okay,
were done.
now we're going forward. So it's just been fun. You know, I had a great time on the show, and I've had a great time post How I Met Your Mother.
No, How I Met My
How I
Mother.
Met My Mother.
That's the
Yeah.
next round of it.
Yeah.
That's the sequel.
So I had a great time on it, and I'm having a great time, you know, after it. And I'm intensely grateful for what it brought me, and I'm also intensely grateful to kind of shed it and move forward. And
I would have a hard time, I just imagine if I was on a hit show, I would be like, give me my coffee now. And then I would walk through life and people wouldn't be giving me coffee anymore because I'm not on set.
It's so weird. I have
Is
to get
that
him coffee
confusing?
all the
Does
time.
he
yeah,
say
that's
that
why I
to
got
you?
Ben. That's why I
Yeah,
collaborated with Ben.
That's
I'm
what's
sort of like a
happening.
Sherpa. It
Right?
feels a bit like a,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine.
No, you got to be careful because you can get infantilized
Right?
on the show.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yep, I can imagine
but I
that.
found that good behavior goes a long way.
That's right.
It's
You've
true.
had very good behavior today, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
What's coming up?
Well, Radnor and Lee, November 10th, our album's coming out.
Okay, thank you.
I'm doing a new TV show for NBC called Rise that'll be on in March.
Great.
Which is super exciting. It's a great, great, great TV show created by Jason Katims, who did Friday Night Lights and Parenthood. So that's why I'm here in New York doing that.
You have to come back and see us when that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
coming. I'll call it I Rise. I'll change the name of it.
Ben has created a musical. That's really exciting.
I wrote a musical with the amazing author Tom Robbins, who's 85. He wrote Even Cowgirls Get the Blues and Jitterbug Perfume. We wrote a musical called B is for Beer that John Cryer's directing the initial workshop of in LA next month, and produced Jill Sobul's new album called Nostalgia Kills. And so it's a lot of just, we're both like, we love multitasking.
Yeah.
You know?
And you both are very good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I give you, you know what's interesting? He's a juggler, right?
Like a real...
Yeah, he can really juggle well.
You can juggle?
But let me continue with the analogy for
What
a
do we
moment.
have here? He can juggle.
No, we can't do that.
But listen, what I was going to say is, there's a skill set that has to do with juggling, you know, and the way I think we both deal with our creative projects with is, if you're juggling, if you obsess over one of the things, you're going to drop them all. You know, it's kind of about like you have to stay centered, and I feel like that with all these things that we're doing. As long as you just stay focused on your intention and you're balanced, they all seem to just keep going around in the air, you know, without that much like worry.
See, this is why we hang out.
Yeah.
He makes me
He makes you
understand
zen.
juggling as metaphor.
Yeah, you have a very philosophic Zen quality that I am enjoying, even just sitting
Me
here.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Wow.
Okay.
They liked you better than they liked
Yeah, a little bit. I'm sorry.
That didn't take long.
You didn't reprimand
Sorry.
me. Yeah.
Yes, you reprimanded me.
I didn't mean to.
But you did, and I feel awkward
No,
now.
do you really?
My face got hot and flushed.
No.
A little bit.
Is this live?
Yeah.
Oh, so they're not going to edit that out.
No.
This is for all
will-
time.
it
We
will.
will have this
For all
weird,
time.
And I
awkward
promise
online
you-
moment.
She'll get over this. This too shall pass. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Josh and Ben will be performing a song from their new album, Radnor and Lee.
How would it feel to be free of self? If I could free myself, if only I could, if only I could, if only. How would it feel if I had a heart at peace? If I could be released, if only I could, if only I could, if only. Be like the being, free like the being like the being, 'cause the reason for the being is to be like the being, free like the being like the being, 'cause the reason for the being is to be. How would it feel if I could win the war, forget what I thought before? If only I could, if only I could, if only. How would it feel if I could decide at last the future is not the past? If only I could, if only I could, if only. See like the being, hear like the being, act like the being, 'cause the reason for the being is to be like the being, free like the being, agree to see the being, 'cause the reason for the being is to be real, ideal, be joy, be just, be wise, be aware, but learn to trust, be brave, be bold, be hope, be new, be love, believe there's God in you, be soft, be firm, be kind, be bright, be free of doubt, be full of light, be sober still, be truly free, be a man who knows he's here to be. How would it feel to be free of self? If I could free myself, if only I could, if only I could, if only. Be like the being, free like the being like the being, 'cause the reason for the being is to be like the being, free like the being like the being, 'cause the reason